Hello, my dear students, and welcome back to our lecture course. And today we're going to discuss with you such topic as software. Let's take a look at our plan. So today, firstly, I will give you some more job titles that were missing on a previous lesson, and then we're going to discuss software, exactly the vocabulary. Then we're going to practice our grammar. We will take a look at direct and reported speech. And in the end, we're going to practice our pronunciation. So, our missing job titles. The first one, it's a cloud engineer. It is the roles that work with the cloud structures, handle cloud platform development, interfaces, and networks for cloud-based systems, and have extensive experience with operating systems, data security, and computer language. Other titles that can be handled for this position, it's cloud system engineer, cloud computer engineer, cloud architect, system administrator, consultant, or services provider, developer, even product manager. The second position, it's information technology leadership. Positions in a high-level IT leadership often requires different management skills, extensive experience in the technology field, and advanced level of education. These roles created and implements policies, systems, and procedures to reach a company's IT goal and often handle department budgets and the future development ideas. Other titles can include like Chief Information Officer, Chief Technology Officer, IT Manager, or IT Director, also Project Manager, Director of Technology, Technical Operation Officer, or Senior IT Consultant. The third one will be Software Developer, that actually connected with our topic. So, software developers write, test, and troubleshoot the computer's code that build software programs. They may work on a wide range of products, like gaming applications, word processing programs, also robots or operating systems. Software developers use programming languages and serves and databases, the frameworks, and other technology to create a final product. And this position can include such titles like software engineer, software architect, software test engineer, software development manager, development engineer, artificial intelligence engineer, application developer or designer, even engineer. Also, it will be like lead programmer or framework specialist. Great, we are. And now we can talk more in details about software. I will give you some useful vocabulary. So the first one, it's a programmer, or if you like, it can be called software developer also. One more time, it's a person who writes or modifies computer programs or applications. And I like to suggest you to look how does this word works in a sentence. The software company needed to hire the 3 new programmers to help debug their flagship application. Programmers usually execute a program. What does it mean? It means to start a program on a computer. For this phrase, you can use another synonyms. It will be like to run a program, to launch, or even boot a program. And in a sentence, it will work like the program was set to execute every night of midnight. As we know, the program can crash, which means that computer failure due to a faulty hardware or a serious software bug. Like, the user was advised to reboot the computer after a serious crash in which the computer no longer responded. Program can crash, but it can be also terminated. Terminated is mean to cause a process or a task to stop executing. Like the system administrator need to manually terminate a process before he could reboot the system. But you can abort the program. Abort the program means to end the program or a process before its completion. Like when the word processor application crashed, the user had to abort the program and lose all of his unsaved changes. We all know about feature. It's like something a computer program is supposed to do. These are often reasons to use a particular program or upgrade to a more recent version. Like, the man upgraded his copy of Word because of a new feature that allowed him to spell check the documents in Spanish. Except feature, we also have bug and error. But let's start with a bug. It's an error in a computer program. Like, an average developer will create one bug for every 10 lines of a code written. What we can say about error, it's an incorrect action attributable to a poor judgment, ignorance, or even inattention. Like, the computer reported a division by zero error automatically aborted the program. And the last one will be end user. End user, it's the person who uses a product or service on a computer. We all users, but end user, it's a person who will work or use your program developed by you. So developers must maintain a close relationship with end users if they want to have a successful career. Great, we are. So now we can take a look on our grammar and talk about direct and reported speech. So, when we tell people what another person said or thought, we often use reported speech, or also it can be called indirect speech. To do that, we need to change the verb tenses, like present, past, or future, and the pronouns. Pronouns is I, you, my, your, she, and so on. If the time and speaker are different, only in this case. Like, for example, the present tenses becomes past, and I becomes he or she, and my becomes his or her. Like, let's take a look at our example. Sally, I don't have time. If we're trying to remake it into reported speech, we will say like, Sally said that she didn't have time. Next one, Peter, I'm tired. He said that he was tired. Also, we can left Peter if you want, like Peter said that he was tired. If we are talking about reported speech, I should mention the omission of that. We often leave out that after reporting verbs like say, think, and so on. Let's take a look. She said she was late. It means the same as she said that she was late. Everybody understands that, that's why we can actually omit this part that. And one more example, I thought, that will be omitted, so I thought I would get the job. Other peculiarity of using reported speech is which verb to use, say or tell. As you know, the most common verbs we use in a reported speech are say and tell. We must pay attention to these topics because we say tell somebody something, but we say something to somebody. Let's take a look at our examples. They told me they would help me. In this case, we can't use they said me they would help me, because we tell somebody something. And the second example, we say, he said he didn't have a car. Not he told that he didn't have a car, because say something to to somebody. And as I told previous, the pronouns are also changed in indirect speech or reported speech. So in this case, we must pay attention to the use of pronouns. When a person tells us something, he or she uses the first person, I, me, my, we, us, our, to talk about himself or herself, and the second person is you or your, to talk about us. The person, if we're talking about the person who is listening. But when we tell someone else what that person said, we are going to use the third person, like he, she, his, her, and so on. When we want to talk about the speaker and the first person. First person, it's I, me, or my, to talk about ourselves or to our listener. Let's take a look at the examples. I will help you. It's a direct speech, and we transform it into he said that he would help me. Why we use here would instead of will, we will discuss later. The second one, that's my pen, and now we should change my on someone's when we're talking about her or him. She said that it was her pen. And the last one, I need your help. She said that she, I is changed on she, needed your, which means actually your or my help. She said that she needed my help. And now I will try to explain you the main rule of how to use direct and reported speech. On the screen, you see the list of different tenses, and if you want to make from direct speech reported, you should just make a one step back. One step back means that if we are talking now in present, then in reported speech it will be past. If we are talking in past, then in reported speech it will be past perfect. If now it's a present perfect, then it will be past perfect. And future tenses. In future tenses, we just should change will on the future in the past, so we are changing will into would. And such words like can, must, have to, we are changing on past form, like can, could, must, and have to. Everything is changed into had to. There is no special form for must in a past time. And if we are talking in imperative, in direct speech, then in reported it will be just to plus infinitive. Also, this rule works with words that identify time about which we're talking, like in direct speech it will be now, then in reported it will be then. Tomorrow, the next day. Yesterday, the previous day. Today, that day. Last week, the previous week. And next month will be the next month. And let's take a look at examples. I have forgotten to bring my lunch to me, he said. Let's try to transform. Firstly, we will say he said that can be omitted. That I is changing on he, then we are adding the part had and forgotten to bring his lunch with not me but him. Questions. Will you be home soon? She asked her husband. Remember one rule, then if we are trying to transform questions from direct to reported speech, then we usually omit the question mark, so we don't use it at all. She asked her husband if he would be home soon. If it's affirmative or a negative statement, then we use that or omit it, but in the questions, instead of question, we use if. If can't be omitted. Next one is Imperative. Go to bed, father said to the children. Father told the children to go to bed. I'll clean the car tomorrow, Tim said to his father. So, Tim told his father that he, will is changing to would, clean the car the following day, because tomorrow we transformed into following day. Where have you been? Gary asked his wife. Gary asked his wife where she had been. So where, it's a questioning word, like if. It can't be omitted, it should be used. I've been working for the same company since 1960, he said to me. He told me that he had been working, because in direct speech we have present perfect continuous, so in reported it will be past perfect continuous. One more time. He told me that he had been working for the same company since 1960. Do you know Garfield? She asked me. She asked me if I knew, one step back, Garfield. How shall I tell Tom the bad news? She said. She asked, because it's a question, that's why said is transformed into ask. She asked how she should tell Tom the bad news. You must try my homemade wine, he said. He said that I had, because must is transformed only into had to, one more time, he said that I had to try his homemade wine. One more question. Can I go home now? He asked her. So he asked her if he could go home then. Also, interesting moment with may. Let's take a look. May I call you by your first name? He asked. He asked if he, may is transformed into might. He asked if he might call me by my first name. Next one. She must try harder if she wants to succeed, he said. He said that she had to try harder if she wanted to succeed. Why had? Because must is transforming into had to in reported speech. And my father will be angry with me if he finds out, she said. She said that her father would, because will we change into would, be angry with her if he found out. As the last but not the least, you had better speak to the manager, she said to him. She told him that he had better speak to the manager. And I may not be able to meet you at the airport, he said to her. He told her that he might, because may is transforming into might not be able to meet her at the airport. Great. It was a big topic for today. That's why now we can just to practice our pronunciation. I will read to you and you will try to repeat. And one more time. I wish to wash my Irish wristwatch. I wish to wash my Irish wristwatch. And one more, a little bit longer, like look likes legs, looks duck likes legs, look licks legs, looks duck licks legs, duck takes licks in legs, look likes, look takes licks in legs, duck likes. And one more time, like look likes legs, looks duck likes legs, look licks legs, looks ducks licks legs, duck takes licks in legs, look likes, look takes licks in a legs, duck likes. Great. The next one is Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear, Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair, Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't fuzzy, was he? One more time, let's try to make it quicker. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear, Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair, Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't fuzzy, was he? Next. Nevertheless, the never-ending thoughtlessness of never-thinking thing. Nevertheless, the never-ending thoughtlessness of never-thinking thing. Next one. For sound th. I thought, but the thought I thought wasn't the thought I thought I thought. If the thought I thought had been the thought I wouldn't have thought I thought. I thought, but the thought I thought wasn't the thought I thought. If the thought I thought had been the thought I wouldn't have thought I thought. And last one. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? He would chuck as much as he could, and chuck as much wood as a woodchuck would if a woodchuck could chuck wood. Quicker. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? He would chuck wood as much as he could, and chuck as much wood as a woodchuck would if a woodchuck could chuck wood. Great. And now I can give you your home task. Firstly, you should learn the new vocabulary, and secondly, you should find all the sentences that you was writing before, like 5 sentences for a future simple, past simple, present perfect continuous, and so on. Just choose any 10 of them and try to make them in a reported speech, from direct speech to reported one. So, great we are. Thank you for attention. Bye-bye.